I think people are more aware and more willing to spend a little extra money on their car, which is interesting because most people that have those high performance sports cars especially, they trade them in every couple of years. So they don't even keep them that long. And you go to expect to keep your body for 80, 90 years, and you treat it by giving it the worst gas you can find for a lot of people. That becomes a boon for sickness and disease as opposed to health and wellness.
If the service engine light comes on in your car, you're not going to just put a sticker over it and ignore it. You're going to take it to the shop and say, hey, my service engine light's on. But people develop all these symptoms, like they'll start having, knee pain or foot pain, but they'll just take a painkiller and forget about it. And so it's like a Band-Aid just to cover up that light that's on, kind of like the light in your car.
Cars have a maintenance agreement that you sign even when you lease a car, and you promise you're going to bring it in for X, Y, and Z. You're going to get your oil filters. It used to be every 3,000 miles you get your oil filter changed. They put a little sticker in the corner of your window, and every 3,000 miles, people would freak out even if they went over 100 miles on their filters. They would go on, they'd replace all their filters, they'd change all their fluids, they'd make sure they lubed the car, they would make sure that that the car was aligned correctly, that the tires were balanced, because they would get symptoms if they didn't. In the body, we have filters as well, and we don't take care of them. I think mostly because we were never educated that we even had filters. And we need to start looking at them a little bit differently. Look at our bowel, our stomach, our intestine system, our liver, our gallbladder, our kidneys as what they truly are. Even our lungs, they're filters. They are filters for all of the things that go in to help us create energy and tissue. And then remove everything else that's toxic that happens in the environment as waste. Exactly the same as your car does with the fuels and the oils and other things that you're putting in. It takes in what it needs, creates an energy, moves the car around, and everything else is removed out the exhaust system and pushed into the filters as waste.
I think making them understand that they actually have control, just like you have control over whether the engine seizes up, we have that same kind of control in our bodies, but people seem as though I was unlucky, I got cancer, or I have irritable bowel syndrome because I'm just unlucky.
Right. Well, and that's because we've been trained in symptom relief. We're not trained in going in and fixing the problem, where if you brought your car in and it had that kind of symptom, they would hook it up to a computer and they would test all the things that could be possibly wrong. They would replace those parts, they would fix it, and your car would run fine again. In the human body, we just go, well, you have a symptom of irritable bowel syndrome, and what does that mean? Well, it means that you're going to be on some sort of medication for the rest of your life, as opposed to, hey, stop doing the stupid stuff that got you here in the first place, and learn about how do you change your diet, how do you change what you're putting in that could be creating these things, and start to get yourself back to health. And we can. The fix is teaching kids. I never got it in health class. I never understood that I had filters. I didn't understand there were certain foods that could make my liver function better, that my gallbladder would function better, that my kidneys would function better.
Right.
We never got that. We never were taught that stuff. We never were taught that there were filters. And I think it doesn't happen today either. So I think changing the analogies and letting the younger generation start to understand things a little bit differently, that's going to be the inroads to changing the world.
I was telling Dana's son, he's 13, he's a football player, a lacrosse player, and he wants to gain weight. So I told him, I was like, you need to think of your body as an actual Ferrari, right? If you had a Ferrari, how would you treat it? You put the best gas possible in it, right? If you could get race gas, you put that in it because that's like 110 octane to make you fly. So I told him, I was like, you gotta put high quality foods into your body so that way your muscles and your ligaments and tissue can repair like they're supposed to and grow like you want them to. Put some meat on his bones.